Today, we're going to be learning about the basic fundamentals that make up the rowing stroke. This will help us visualize the proper way in how to row most efficiently. Let's begin by learning about the two main reference points that your coach and rowing peers will constantly refer to. The first reference point is known as the finish. The finish is the final part of the rowing stroke and is the point at which the rowing blade exits the water after the rower has finished driving. So what is a good finish position? A good finish position should look something like this. The rower's back is straight and tall at the finish with a slight lean back of around 100 degrees. Notice how their shoulders are pinched back, not slouched forward, and their head is up. Similarly, the rower's elbows are extended past their body and the handle sits just under their chest. This is the type of finish position we want in the boat. It is common for many first-year rowers to have poor finish positions because they are using muscles in their back that have not been used before. Here is an example of a bad finish position. Here, the rower's body is C-shaped with no sit back. This is not a strong finish position. The shoulders are slouched forward, their elbows do not extend past their body, and their back is not straight. This is not the type of finish position we want when we are in the boat. Here is another example of a bad finish position. The rower can be seen leaning too far back. This puts an incredible amount of strain in the lower back muscles, which is likely to cause injury. Again, this is not the type of finish position we want when we are in the boat or on the ergo. The second reference point is known as the catch. The catch is the beginning part of the rowing stroke and is where the rowing blade first enters the water. A good catch position should look something like this. The rower's legs are parallel and at a 90-degree angle, and their back is angled forward and tall, but not slouched and C-shaped. The rower's head is still, up and looking forward. Further, his hands are locked out completely and the chain is flat and level with the ergo. This is the type of catch position we want when we are in the boat or on the ergo. Here is an example of a bad catch position. As you can see, the rower's body is collapsing forward, slouched and overreaching. This is likely due to the rower overreaching with his hands and body rock. This is not a natural body position and requires the rower to sit up and puff his chest out tall to correct his body position. Here is another example of a poor catch position. This time the rower is sitting too upright and looks very rigid and stiff. His back is far too straight and his hands do not extend very far, as a result causing a lack in length. This is due to a lack of body rock in the hips and requires the rower to rock forward with his hips more to correct his position. So, the catch and finish are very important reference points used in rowing, so it is important to understand these terms as soon as possible, as they will be constantly referred to by your coach and rowing peers. Now that we have learned about these two main reference points, the finish and the catch, it is time to understand the two stages that make up the actual rowing stroke. The first is the drive. This is the work portion of the stroke and is how we get the boat moving. The rower drives from the catch to the finish. The second one is the recovery. This is the rest portion of the stroke, which follows the drive and returns the oar and rower back to the catch to begin the next stroke. When these are put together in a continuous movement, it creates the rowing stroke. Drive, recovery, drive, recovery, and so on and so on. So far, we have learned the two main reference points of the catch and finish, followed by the two stages of the rowing stroke, the drive and the recovery. So now we need to learn the three main body movements that actually make up the drive and recovery and allow us to row properly. Starting at the finish, the recovery goes as such: arms away, bodies, followed by the legs to the catch. The drive uses the exact same body movements but in the opposite direction. Legs, bodies, then arms. It is extremely important to understand the separation of these movements, as this is the most effective and efficient way to row. We are going to discuss these movements in more detail. Effective arms away rowing looks like this. The proper finish position is maintained and the rower simply extends their arms out flat until they lock, before pulling the handle back through flat to their chest. It is important to note that during the arms away sequence, the body does not move forward at all. Examples of the most common errors in the arms away sequence are as follows. Here, notice how the body does not stay still in the arms away sequence. The shoulders do not pinch back but slouch forward, and the body is becoming engaged. This is not the proper way to row in the arms away sequence. Here, the handle direction, both extending and drawing through, is not flat. The handle chain shakes up and down, which will disrupt the balance of the boat and the smoothness of the drive. Again, this is another example of a poor arms away sequence and is not what we want to achieve. After the arms comes the body. Effective arms and bodies rowing looks like this. The key here is that the arms are locked out and fully extended before the body begins to swing forward. The rower rocks with his hips, not shoulders, and when he drives, he swings back with his hips. As the rower swings back with his hips, the arms remain locked out straight as he hangs with his lats, before the arms engage and draw through in a flat line to the chest. Examples of poor arms and bodies rowing are as follows. Here, the rower rocks with his shoulders instead of hips. This creates a violent downwards motion of the handle, as the rower no longer has a flat handle path. Similarly, as the rower goes to drive back, by rocking with his shoulders, a violent catch placement and disruptive drive follows, as he creates a heavy loopy motion instead of a flat, smooth draw through. Another common error in the arms and body sequence is when the body begins to rock forward before the arms are fully extended out. This is a very common mistake found in junior rowing and usually occurs due to laziness. Again, this is not the right way to row in the arms and body sequence. The final part of the rowing stroke involves the legs. When all three of these movements are in motion properly, an effective rowing stroke looks like this. The key with the legs are that they gently roll forward with gravity to parallel or 90 degrees, before driving back quickly. The legs do not rush forward and they do not overextend past parallel or 90 degrees. Also note how on the recovery, the legs come forward slowly and relaxed, and when the rower drives back, the legs snap down quick and aggressively. Always remember that on the recovery, when your legs come forward to the catch, they should be moving more slowly than when you drive back. Here's an example of how not to use your legs in the rowing sequence. Here, the rower's legs suddenly and violently rush forward to the catch quicker than they drive back. This is what we call a lack of control. This slows the boat down dramatically because it throws all the rower's weight forward when the boat is meant to be moving the other direction. This is one of the worst things we can do when rowing, and this is not how we want to row. Here is another very common mistake made by junior rowers. As you can see, the rower's legs are popping up forward before the arms and bodies have extended out. This means the rower is not rowing in the right sequence, as he is rowing legs, arms, bodies, instead of arms, bodies, legs. This poor rowing has a follow-on effect, because when the rower reaches the catch, they have no body rock forward, and the seat hits the back of their heels, resulting in a lack of length. We call this bum shoving. Now, when the rower goes to drive back, he only gets maximum output from his legs, because the body has already opened up. In order to fix this, the rower needs to think about holding his legs down for as long as possible as he rocks forward. This will really stretch his hamstrings. So to conclude, the proper rowing sequence is arms, bodies, legs on the recovery, and legs, bodies and arms on the drive. If you can follow this sequence in a continuous motion, you have learnt the complete rowing stroke. You should now also have an understanding of the catch and finish position and the drive and recovery. Remember, our legs are our strongest muscle. Roughly 60% of the power comes from the legs, followed by 30% in the bodies and 10% with the arms. So it is important to row in the right sequence if you are to be a successful crew. You have now learnt the complete rowing stroke. Remember to have fun and enjoy your time out on the water.